Happy Friday. This is another one of my top to bottoms. I'm gonna go ahead and rank my recent reads and let you know why they're in the position they're in. So, let's go. My book that's on the bottom, meaning the book that I enjoyed the least, is Carry On. It reminded me too much of a after-school special. Maybe something that I would watch at church camp or a Christian movie night. Blindside Part 2. There was a lot of cute parts, like funny and, sweet parts, sad parts, but it was typical Lifetime. It wasn't a horrible book. It was just a horrible book for me. There were so many times I wanted to quit reading this book, but I felt bad. I felt like they can see me not read their book, and I was like, oh, maybe I should keep trying. And then I got to this page that they were talking about, oh, we don't want pity, from people. And I was like, oh, good. Next I have Cold Mountain. I actually really like this book, but the reason that it's at the bottom is because there really was no story to this book. It was more like maybe a day in his life, his lifestyle, his character in a whole. The art was amazing, and I thought it was put together really nicely. I like how they broke it down with different poems in between. It was nice, simple to read. It had a nice message behind it. I dug this book. So this is Cold Mountain. Next up is Don't Call Us Dead by Destined Smith. This one initially was so poetic that it went over my head. Somebody suggested, I can't remember her name, that I watch one of the poems live. So I checked out his live poems. He mentioned that he's a gay male with HIV, and I had a better appreciation for it when I went back and I reread some of those poems, and it was like, that's what he was talking about. It was actually not too bad of a book, Next book I have is Destined, Disconnect. I really did like this book. My only problem is the same problem I have for most collections of short stories. Some of them shouldn't have been in there. Some should not have made the cut. It was like maybe her cousin told her, please girl, put this up in here. Or maybe they didn't say it in that voice because they're Cuban. Please girl, put this up in here. And so she did it, and it sucked. But there was a lot of good stories in here. I got this from the library, but I think I would actually buy this book. They were stories that made you think, and you knew that you've been there at some time in your life. I like books that I can relate to, and that was a good book. What I did not personally like about Exit West, I wanted to know where they were from. I wanted to know what country we were speaking about. Whenever he mentioned, oh, they had an accent like me, they looked like me, they were from where I was from, I wanted to know where that was. And even at the very end, when they went back to this country, they didn't say where. It was a hard book for me to get invested in. But then she smoked a joint, and we joined universes. And I decided I should continue. And I'm happy I did. Once they decided to leave their country, wherever that is, and they went to London, and they went to all these different places. I loved how they mixed the Nigerian culture in this book. They go through doors to get to different places, like these magic doors, traveling doors. The last place that they happened to travel, they happened to come to my little town, right? What's the chances of that? It's like they done went through a magic door and ended up here. Good book. Happy I read it. Alright, next, Nickel Boys. And this is the only book I think that I've ever bought that I paid full price for. It was not on sale. So when I picked this up, I was so excited. I said, ooh, I can't wait to read it. And I opened it and I was like, oh. I fell asleep so many times reading this book. But once they got to the academy and I started learning the characters and trying to figure things out, I was like, oh, this is a pretty good book. I'm not usually surprised by books, but the ending surprised me. And it made me want to read it again. And I'm sure the second time I read it, I'll catch a lot of things I missed the first round, and I will love the book. So, we'll see. So that's the Nickel Boys. Oh, so after I bought this book and paid full price for it a couple weeks ago, I found it at the Goodwill. Same one, brand new. I was so mad. I could have got it for $2. Fire this time. This is probably one of my favorite books that I've read all year. What didn't I like about this book? Again, 2 of these stories should not have been included. I'm not going to mention which ones because I don't want to offend anybody. However, I love these stories so much. It's just as good as I thought it was going to be, especially with James Baldwin being the inspiration. I love how it started with your history and then the current and then went to your future. There's so many books that leave you at this current, I don't know what's next stage, and it doesn't give you this hopeful future jubilee at the end. Finish this book feeling inspired, not sad and oh, this is what happened to us. It was like, no, this is what's going to happen with us. This book, I dug it. So, the book that I have enjoyed the most, at the top of my list, woo woo. Boom. This is my book. Cujo is my man. I'm just saying, that is my dude right there. This was probably one of the best books that I've ever read, personally. The only bad thing about this is that I wanted to hear more. At the end, they're like, tell us another story, tell us another story. That's me. The way that Zora put this book together, the way she interviewed him, the way she captured his best and worst moments was amazing to me. I felt his stubbornness through this book. It reminded me so much of my papa and my dad. I'm like, yeah, I could imagine them one day like, oh, come on in. Other day like, go on, baby, go on, get out of here. And I love the moments that they just sat and ate, snacked. Didn't have to say anything, just sit there and just hang out and enjoy each other's space. I really miss having someone like that I can just sit there and listen to their story. When he was talking about the deaths of his children, oh, that was so heartbreaking. How much more can one guy handle? Just to think, big family, and they're happy, and then they all leave you, one at a time. They all die, and here you are, all alone again, just like the day that you came. When he kept saying how lonely he was, I felt his loneliness. I wanted to give him a hug so bad. Oh my God. This is definitely a top book. Definitely. You guys, thank you for listening to me just go on and on about hardly nothing. But these are the books that I've ranked. Till next time, y'all. Y'all be easy.